Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my podcast. Today, I have a very special guest. Actually, I think RepStack owes a lot to us. So I have a very interesting story with this person, and I'll get back to it. But welcome, Hussnain.
Hello, glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad. So Hussnain is employee number one, and how he became employee number one is very interesting. And Azhar calls me one day, and I have this idea, and I'm working on it with Athar. And finally, I've landed a client, but I don't have somebody to place with him. By chance, he calls me up, and I was sitting right next to Hasnan. And I asked him, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Gaming at night, university at daytime." And I was like, "Do you want to work?" Because he had worked with me in another venture for a bit. So I knew that the guy was okay. So he's, yeah, I do want to work. I was like, "Okay, great. Just send me your resume by tonight, and you'll have an interview by tomorrow." And that's how it started. And I'm glad that it did. He's still with RepStack and doing great. And I think one of the people that we cherish a lot. And we have really looked closely at his journey. And it has been an amazing journey. So let's talk about that journey. All right, Hassan. So tell us a little bit about from where I started, what we're doing before that. And
At the moment, I was actually taking a gap year before I started university. And so in that gap year, I was trying to find any kind of work I could. I worked at a restaurant as a cashier and different jobs within there as well. Then I believe I shifted over to a call center. I worked there for about 5, 6 months maybe, and it was horrible. I mean, I learned a lot, but it's not a place where you want to be for a long time. And so I left it on the 6th month, and coincidentally, right as I left it, the week after, that's when we met, and you offered me the job. And
Nice.
so it was meant to be, alhamdulillah.
Yeah. And sometimes things happen that way that if I might not be sitting there, you might not have been in my radar. And things would have been different today, but I'm glad that it went that way.
100%. And actually, this is a bit personal, but at the moment, my father had come back from Saudi Arabia and he was retired. We actually really needed a good job in the family, and Allah helped at the perfect time.
Yeah, I think it was God sent. And so, did you do your university first, and then, or you were in your university at that time when you started this job? Yeah. How was that? Were you able to finish your degree?
Yep, I did. It was a bit tough, not in the sense that it's hard to manage them both, and more in the sense that once you start a job and the money's good as well, then you get demotivated when it comes to finishing your studies. But I did it. Alhamdulillah, bachelor's was done.
Nice. And your role is a deal closer, right? SDR.
Yeah, so started off as an appointment setter. Then they gave me a few opportunities to do sales, and that worked out really well. And so then eventually I moved up the ladder, and now I'm a sales closer.
Nice. So tell us a little bit about sales. What are the key factors that you look into? You've been great at it. So maybe people who are listening about sales, like what do they need to, the basics maybe?
The best thing is that make it a conversation, just like you're talking to someone across the table from yourself, like we're talking right now. Just got to do it like that. Don't be too uptight or don't be too professional. Keep it light. One thing that really focuses on the right sales is the right lead generation. So the good thing about my client is that every time someone gets on a call with us, they've already gotten a lot of value from our content, our videos, maybe his book. And so when they end up on the call, they're really interested. And so all I got to do is have a nice small conversation with them, tell them what we're doing, what we're not doing, what works, what doesn't, and that's it.
And what's your closing ratio?
I would say it's about 35%.
Nice. And this is one role that is very different to literally the rest of the digital marketing.
Right.
So it's focused towards digital marketing. But do you see the need that you should have a lot of knowledge about digital marketing as well when you go onto those calls?
I don't think so, not at all. So this is my client's agency is more of a coaching agency for anyone looking to start their marketing agency. And so we don't teach them how to do the marketing. And so I don't need to be an expert in marketing to make that sale happen. We simply teach them the business side of things, how they can get more leads, get more sales, things like that. So we're not a marketing agency, we're a coaching agency for their business end of things.
Nice. Okay. And so tell us a little bit about your day-to-day. How does that work?
Day to day. Are you talking about the job side or
Yeah, job
overall?
side.
Okay.
Overall, you can tell us overall.
Okay.
How do you start your day and then?
I start my day pretty late. It's usually at about 11 or 12. Wake up, after getting breakfast and there's always work at home. Since I'm the only son at home, there's always work. You got to go to the market, you got to get this and that. So that takes a couple hours. And then it's lunchtime again. After lunch, I have a bit of snacks and then it's basically time to start the job at 6 p.m. And so we get on that from 6 all the way up to 2 and back to sleep.
Yeah. So do you do some homework before you're starting to call the client?
Yeah, I do homework, and even before I start the day, before 6 p.m., I make sure I get on at least 30 minutes before 6 p.m. so I can check my calendar for the whole day about how many calls are booked. I make sure to go on each one of those leads that are on my calendar for the day and check out their stats, what's their revenue, what's their issues, everything. And so then I prepare myself for the calls up ahead for the day.
And are there any tools that you're using to help you maybe organize well or something like that?
But the main tool that we use is GoHighLevel, and I believe it offers all the major features that you need for organization compared with a good setup for your Google Calendar. That's all you need.
So what do you do in GoHighLevel?
HighLevel, and all the calls go through HighLevel. All of our automations, our lead gen is all through HighLevel. And so any kind of communication between me and a lead that's interested, it's all through HighLevel.
Nice. And so you've been with the same client for almost 4 years.
5 years, actually.
5 years?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow, yeah. And I think a lot of people know about Josh Nelson as well. Tell us a little bit about working in his company. How does that feel and what is it like to be working for him?
It's actually amazing. It's technically my first real job, corporate job, but it's set expectations that I don't think any other company might be able to fulfill. One good thing that I love working with Josh is that every single day or every other day, we get a message or an email from a member that's saying, Josh, you changed my life. You got me from where I was making 10K all the way up to 80K a month. And it's completely changed the life of myself and my family. And those testimonials are really what gets me going in the sales calls as well, because I know that what I'm selling, it actually makes a difference.
Yep. Yeah, we've been there in all those member intensives and we've seen people grow like crazy in just sometimes in a couple of months as well.
100%.
So I think it works. Whatever 7-figure agency is doing, it's working well. Apart from that, so you're not really working directly with Josh, you're working with Esteban. And so how do you manage remotely working with the team in the US, and do you have daily calls or how does that work?
So we have main sessions on every Monday and Thursday. These are sessions where the whole team gets on, including Josh, Hussnain, and every other person on the team. So those are the bigger sessions that we have every Monday and Thursday. But apart from that, for the sales guys, for us, Esteban does a session every start of day and end of day on pretty much every single day. So that's where we catch up on what needs to be done for the whole day. And at the end of the day, we recap what has been done. And also we started just recently, we got a new salesperson on board and he's really qualified. He's been in the sales part section for a long time now. And he's worked for the bigger names like Grant Cardone and things like that. He has started call reviews every Friday now, where we go through each other's call recordings and give feedback based on that. So that's really helpful.
Nice. And so how big is your team right now?
In total, I think we have about 15 people. In the sales side, we have about 5.
Oh, nice. Tell us a little bit about your journey throughout. You've been progressing great. How did you feel because you've been doing the same thing for 5 years now. So do you get bored sometimes or?
Not at all. So like I mentioned in the start, I was more of an appointment setter. So I did that for about almost a year, 2 years actually. So that was my focus then, learned a lot about that. And the good thing about the 7-figure agency is that they keep giving me more opportunities to grow in different roles, or they keep changing things. So it always keeps me on my toes. So I moved from an appointment setter to a closer, partial closer, and then officially a full closer. And just recently, the program I used to sell for the past 5 years, they changed that to a different program now. So that's really good. I'm excited about the next calls coming up. There's a bit of a change in learning curve, but it's really exciting.
Nice. AI is the buzz these days. Any tools that you're using or helps you apart from getting your grammar fixed? Are you doing something else as well with AI?
Yeah, 100%. So our setters, what they do, our appointment setters, we have two of them on the team. it's really helpful for them because they create text sequences or email sequences through ChatGPT that can really target the right size company. So our goal, our ideal client in the 7-figure agency is an agency that's making at least multiple six figures and wants to be at 7 figures. So ChatGPT helps us tailor sequences that we can send to these leads that we have in our pipeline and attract them to getting on a call with us. So that's a big plus. I use that on my side as well to get my own leads as well.
Nice. Apart from work, let's get to your personal side. What is your passion apart from work? Anything on the side as well?
It used to be for pretty much my whole life, my passion was video games.
Oh, yeah.
So I played those a lot, but it's starting to dwindle now, especially after getting married. My wife hates video games, so she doesn't like me on those. But I myself, I'm getting bored of that as well. So I'm looking into other avenues. Recently, I've really been getting into stocks and trading, things like that.
Nice. And coming to your family now, of course, you have a wife now. How easy is for her to understand that, all right, he'll be working nights, sleeping daytimes. How does they cope with it? How do they cope with it?
She hasn't been doing the best with that because she used to sleep really early. And ever since she got married and came here, she can't sleep until I sleep. So she's, please do something about this. Let's move to a different country where the timings are better with a job. And we're actually thinking about that, but inshallah, let's see what happens. But
do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, so we're planning on moving to a different country where the timings are a bit better, so I don't have to work a night shift, and with the same timings in the company right now, but a different time zone. So it still makes a big difference because 6 to 2 is not that bad. I used to do this every day before the job even. I used to play video games till 3 a.m., but it's slowly starting to creep up on my health, and I think long term it's going to have a negative effect. So we're trying to see what we can do for that.
Awesome. And apart from that, how has been, you're one of those people who are, actually, I don't blame you. It's sales. You don't need much support back. Everyone has his own product, her own product to sell. But how has been the journey with RepStack?
It's been amazing. Ever since the first day, they've helped me a lot. When I was there wasn't any kind of much systems or RSA that they have right now. So it was pretty much, actually it's funny because the day we were supposed to have the interview, just the day before that we were talking and you were like, okay, just come to my house tomorrow and we'll see what happens. And you literally just put me in front of the client and do the interview. I wasn't expecting that. So it was very abrupt, but it all worked out. But it's been an amazing experience with RepStack. If I ever have any kind of issues, I can always reach out to my CSM. She's amazing, by the way. Shout out to Elina. And but RepStack has been really good.
Nice. I remember that small room that we shifted when we started off. Yeah, it was a nice journey. Apart from that, the people who are starting to, do a sales role, any kind of message or anything that you want to let them know before they start? Or because a lot of people are like, no, sales is something we don't want to do it. It's just like a call center. But I think you're the most highly paid person in RepStack as well. So I think it comes with the what do you call that? A lot of responsibility and a lot of effort as well. So maybe a message or two for them.
Yeah, sales is not actual sales. It's nothing like a call center. The call center is a good training for a salesperson before they do an actual sales job, but you cannot call that sales. So actual sales, if you're doing this, then I would recommend that have systems in your client's agency or your agency that can get people warmed up and on the call with you before they even hop on a call. So don't make complete cold calls. That doesn't work anymore. Give them value. Value always comes first. Give them so much value that they show interest themselves, and then they hop on a call with you. That's one of the best ways to do sales. The only way to do sales at this point with the amount of competition that's out there.
Anything you would want to change if you want to go back like 5 years back when you started off? Anything you would want to change now? Or maybe regret?
Regret or change? I don't think so. I think alhamdulillah everything's worked out pretty good. I can't really think of much. It's been a good growth experience so far.
Right before the call, he was telling us about all the real estate he has bought. So no regrets. It was great talking to you, Hussnain.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. He's my wife's first cousin as well, so we meet quite often. But it's always a pleasure talking to you.
Thank
And
you.
thank you so much for coming. We have a small gesture. I'm sure you have a lot of them, but this one would be one more. And thanks a lot for coming.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
Take care.